Okay. All right. So Providence Farm Collective was established in the fall of 2019 with our first season, as all of you know, in 2020 at Jewett Homewood in East Aurora, growing off of the Somali Bantu Community Organization's community farm. And at its core, Providence Farm Collective was established to increase access to food and farmland for communities and individuals in need, just as the Somali Bantu Community Organization had in the previous 3 years. And with that, our vision statement is empowering just and equitable access to food and farmland. So Providence Farm Collective was established really with the mindset of being an umbrella organization. So all of you are involved or leaders within your own community organizations. And rather than creating a new organization that did everything, we only want to help you and your organizations to meet your vision and goals. So with that in mind, we provide farming resources, farming and business education, access to land, and access to fresh, affordably, culturally relevant produce. Mo's going to talk a little bit about the history of the Somali Bantu Community Farm and going into Providence Farm Collective, but a lot of those values were what the Somali Bantu Farm was established on, and then became vocal needs from many other community organizations. I know Ali, you had a lot of experience of sharing the farm with the Somali Bantu Community Farm with other communities, and they said, man, we want a farm of our own. We want to grow culturally appropriate foods for our communities too. So with that feedback is the main reason Providence Farm Collective was established. This is you, Mo. Oh, you're muted.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mahmoud Mberwer, from Somalia, and I'm a part of Somali Bantu Community Organization. And also, people, they call me, I'm a founder of the farm, but sometimes even I don't like it to be say that, but it's already happened. Let me just take a few minutes, just a little bit to explain about how the Somali Bantu Community Farm started. We still having the program for our after school program. Christian son was there helping us, our kid, for our after school program. And then I think toward the end of the year for his school, and he said that really the Somali Bantu needed help. And he went over there, talked to his mom, and then he'd say, Mom, there is people that they need your help. I think you can help them. So that's how Kristen she involved. She just come over to our after school program. And also with the end of the school year, and then Kristen she asked me, okay, guys, how can I help you? What you need, guys, in your community? And I tell her, like, if you could help us find the people to involve with our board, that will be fine. And also we need a land to farm. So we need a farm. If you could find us a land so we could start farming. And she took my email and she took my number, but she did not promise me that she's going to do it. She just only took my number. And then after that, in a few weeks, I think she emailed me, and I wasn't really perfect at checking my email until even now. I'm not really good checking my email, but I try my best. So she sent me an email, and I did not check my email. And then she called me. She said, "Hey, I sent you an email. Did you see my email?" I said, "No, I did not see it." He said, "Okay, if you could check your email, and also we have a meeting this coming Friday. I think it was around the end of May, I believe." She said that if you could come with your people here, and then we could talk. We have a lot of people coming to my house, so if you guys you could come over and explain the people I'm meeting with them what you guys you need. And I say okay, and we went over there with the two van, 14 people. Imagine with a small house that it's not even a hotel, or maybe it's not a venue, but it's somebody's house. So we went over there with the 14 people. So we meet over there, and then we explain what we need. And right away, she said that I meet with the people that they have a land for you guys you could farm, which is was Dr. Chris. And Dr. Chris, she wasn't there, but let me say, I think his wife, I don't know, ex-wife, I don't know, and Aline, she was there. And then they say that okay, we are ready to give you the land, and then they started farming there. And we explained to them that our elders needed this ABCD because most of the people they know what they used to eat back home. Here they cannot find it. What they find is just only on the freezer. So they kind of needed something fresh that they can afford, and then they could get from our farm. And if we say we want to go to Wickman and buy it, it's kind of a little bit expensive. People they cannot afford, and then there is some culture crops that we grow here. We could not find it, but if we could get a land that will help us, and then people they could get what they're supposed to eat back home. And that's how we get the land, and that's how we started. Kristen should try her best, make us like we in a good position with the Dr. Chris, with the other people who are helping us. And then from there, we started farming, I think earlier June. There is another woman, keep forgetting her name, Gowan, yes, and Bill. They were here helping us. They opened GoFundMe page for us for the Somali Bantu, collecting some money so we could buy some seeds and equipment that we could use it. And then from there, and we just this second year we just go like that. The following year, and then Kristen, sh let me say that she said she don't know how to apply a grant, but she could try her best to help us. And one day we sit down, and there is a grant come up with General Mail, with uh, United Way. So Christian should try apply that grant, and imagine it just become like a miracle. Imagine what the first apply a grant, and also was with the small organization which even does not even known in Buffalo, but she did apply with almost, I don't remember how many organizations, there are almost 30 something, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So with a small organization which is not even well known in Buffalo, and also she was the first time doing that one, apply the grant, and it come up, we get a 74,000 with the General Mail grant, which you see it right now as a Somali Bantu. We have a pickup truck, we have the minivan with the 15 passenger. That's how the money coming from before the PFC started. And then from there, we start just growing like that. And then Kristen should say that we needed to help other organizations, how we can help them. Not only for the Somali Bantu, but there is other people who are coming from Africa, who are coming from different countries, but they are here. They are different nations. They are not Somali Bantu, but they need a help like you guys. How we could help these guys? That's how this name come up. PFC. If you see the name is a Providence Farm Collective, means a different nation are meeting there. Now, right now, we have almost like a 7 organization. We have the Congolese, we have Liberia, we have Somali Bantu, and we have a Buffalo Go Green. We have what the name Chain de Corini. We have a Burundi. They are there because of the PFC, Providence Farm Collective. So that's how we started. The Congolese just come up with a league. He tried to talk to Itando, and they involved. That's how we are right now today. That's how PFC started. The PFC, it become an umbrella for this organization we have here at Buffalo now, which does not, they treat everybody in equal. Does not mean the Somali Bantu, they started this program, so they are in in a different level. They are not just like that. The PFC, try working with everyone as an equal. Whatever things that happen, so we should share everyone. And if I take you back a little bit, I did volunteer in my community. Forget about the organization. As a farm, for 3 years, I just volunteer without being getting even a single penny in my pocket. Just I try to work hard to make sure that if, although we get the 74,000, but nobody had even take a penny from that money. We all spend buying the pickup truck, buy the van, buy the equipment that we needed from our farm. Just only like that. Christian, she didn't eat a penny. I didn't eat a penny. Ali, he did not eat a penny. That we spent the money in our farm. So for 3 years, I just volunteer without a penny in my pocket. But a Christian that she see that are working with her for a long time with the Somali Bantu, after we form up with the PFC, that's how Christian should say that you're gonna be the first person that we're gonna hire you that working with the PFC. So that because you're helping us and also you speak a different language and then we have a different nation coming here. So that's how the people that you're gonna help them. That's how I started with the PFC and I'm working full time with the PFC right now. I think that's how I have in my mind.
Thanks, Mo. So, hello everybody. I'm Kristen, and I'm president of the PFC board. I am the Kristen Mo was referring to, and so PFC is a lot about. Actually, it's all about community. That's who we are. PFC isn't just me. It's not just Mo. It's not the board of directors. It's actually every person who farms there. It's every person who has food from Providence Farm Collective. The goal of PFC, in addition to farmland and food, is building community. And we do that with our structure, how we're organized. So our board of directors right now has 6 people serving on it. And it's really important that we have farmers serve on it. We have people from our communities serving on the boards. And the reason why that's so important is that this farm is your farm. This farm it belongs to every community who farms there, and we want your voices represented, and we want your leadership represented on the board, on the advisory board. Mo talked a little bit about the staff, and so did Beth. Beth mentioned that we have a couple of positions open right now, and there's nothing we would love more than to hire like from within the larger PFC community and welcome somebody from your community to join either as farm crew or to, work as the markets person. Whatever somebody is qualified to do, we want to make sure that they're able to do it and work with us. The only paid people at Providence Farm Collective are the staff members. Currently, we have 3 paid staff members. They're Beth, who is the farm director, Mo, who's the farm mentor, and Barry, who is the director of development and administration. These other folks who would work for PFC this year, they would be part-time or just seasonal, depending. And what we try to do, again, is hire from within the communities, but it's important for everybody to understand that it is only staff, one, that it's only staff who are paid, but also that that expense of paying people to work and run the organization, that is probably our greatest expense. And I'll explain that in a later slide. In addition, the board has 5 different committees, and any person in your community can serve on one of these committees. There's the farm committee, the finance committee, the education committee, the marketing committee, and the governance committee. And again, we welcome your participation. So if you're interested at all, please let Beth know. Right now, Mahmoud serves on the farm committee. Atando Omari is on the education committee, and Dow Kamara is on the governance committee. So we're off to a decent start, but we'd love to get more farmers involved. I would also like to add that Atando and Dow are also on the board of directors. So that might be another thing that you notice. So as Mahmoud is a member of the Somali Bantu community, he also works for PFC. Many of us wear different hats when we interact at PFC, and we have to be mindful of our positions wearing those hats. So for example, Atando, when he is at a board meeting, he's there as a representative of PFC. But when he's at the advisory board meeting, he's there representing the Congolese community. So it can get a little confusing, but at the same time, it kind of, as long as we make sure that we're being responsible and, wearing the right hat at the right time and representing the interests, best we can, it really works out. We have a lot of community interaction here and a lot of listening and, respect for what everybody's doing and wants to do together. And then the other parts of our community are the incubator farmers and the partner organizations like your communities. And that's who makes up Providence Farm Collective.
So the why Providence Farm Collective does what it does is to increase equitable land access. So land access is the #1 barrier to start farming for many beginning farmers and many farmers who have transitioned to living in the United States. And as a farmer myself, I have experienced the issues of accessing land, of leasing land, and the barriers to purchasing land because it is so darn expensive, which is why PFC really put a lot of emphasis on owning its own land so that we can provide this land to you and your communities in perpetuity. Another reason why PFC does what it does is to build food security. And I know this is a mission of many of your organizations and why they're involved in farming at PFC for your community to build food security, especially culturally relevant produce within your communities. Another important reason for PFC operating the way it does is to build inclusive communities by sharing cultural farming and food traditions. So as Kristen had mentioned, PFC is a community. It's all of us in this together. There have been really wonderful moments where communities are sharing traditions between the Congolese and the Somali Bantu, or between different communities and sharing different crops. And I know there's been a lot of sharing of African maize and pumpkin leaves and different agricultural traditions. And beyond that, between the communities that don't farm at PFC, getting involved with you guys in the farming activities there. So that is the 3 main points of why PFC is doing what it's doing.
So PFC launched rather quickly and with great success. And that's because of all of our communities. And so this past fall, we had some time to reflect on what we were doing. And we were really lucky because Rich Products provided us with a grant to do something that's called writing a strategic plan. And that's where we explored like, let's identify what the mission is. What are the values of Providence Farm Collective? What is it that we're trying to do? And so during this time in the fall, we developed our mission. Our mission at Providence Farm Collective is cultivating farmer-led. So that means our organization has you as its leaders and community-rooted agriculture and food systems to actualize the rights of underserved peoples. The idea is we need to think about the food system differently in America. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work because there's so many people who don't have access to fresh and affordable foods, and they don't have access to land to grow their own food. And PFC is a solution to that. You are a part of this mission. You are a part of actually doing something that has never been done in Western New York. So it's new here. We're the third program, incubator program for underserved communities in New York State. And in some ways, what we're doing is pretty unique nationally as well, with the fact that we, after 3 years, do not kick off incubator farmers. We don't ask organizations to leave. As long as you're part of the PFC community, as long as you're making sure that you're like a good steward of the land, that you are sharing the values of all of us, you stay, you know, and that's our mission. We also had an opportunity to write our values during the strategic planning. And you've heard that word equity. We've said it so many times today, but that's the idea of everybody having the opportunities to succeed. And if you don't have them, it's making sure you get them. And that's one thing that we try to do with respect to food and farming. We want to build equity in farming. Inclusiveness is that idea that Mo referred to, when we had the discussion, the Somali Bantu community and I, about lots of people need this same kind of access. We need to make sure that we create something where many of us are sharing in these opportunities. And that's what that inclusiveness is. It's the idea that, we all come from different communities, but we can farm together. We respect one another. We value each other's differences. And together we're building this community. And what that's called is grassroots. Grassroots is the idea that you are the leaders in this. It's the idea that that the community is not run top down. We don't want it to be a board of directors telling everybody what to do. And so that's something that we're very much committed to. And finally, education. So this is based on making sure that the farmers who are farming at PFC have the education that they need to succeed. They have business education, they have education in how to grow certain kinds of vegetables, how to be connected to markets, things like that. And those are things that we value and we try to provide for you. And Mo's going to talk about the 3 programs that we have at Providence Farm Collective.
Okay. Actually, if just the program we have it in a PFC, Providence Farm Collective, we have the incubator farmers who are growing whatever they wanted from PFC. In future, we never know. The incubator, they may come together and then say that we want to do this by our own without a PFC. That could be good. That's why PFC is there to teach these people, having a lot of workshop learning, which is going to help the people that they have to know. Like for the workshop we're doing right now, we have a chicken workshop. We have our pig workshop is coming. We have a good workshop coming up. Now we were in a business, a bookkeeping, all those stuff we did. That's mean that PFC try to 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 give this benefit to all the community that we have in Buffalo, so that the incubator they are there. Maybe in future, if they want to say that they come together and then they want to buy their own land and then farming together, making their business to grow. That's the other thing. We have the partner, some organization farmers like we see now. We have the Somali Bantu and what do you call Somali Bantu. We have Liberian, we have the Congolese, and Our Lady Hope. They're there. Buffalo Go Green is there. So mean like we have all this opportunity to these people to work together, and then knowing that a PFC they are there giving education to these people, teaching them, open their door to get what they need. So that's why we try making people to feel like they can do in this land, not because oh, we get this land, we don't have no authority to do this. So that's why people they could have the land and farming, education for the kid, education even ourselves as a farmer, which we don't know how to farm here in America. Even we don't know even the season, so that we get in learning from these people. PFC they try bring all benefit to our organization, learning the seasons, what kind of crops can grow here in Buffalo, which does not grow here in Buffalo. So, we get a lot of benefit from PFC. Yeah. I don't know if I missed anything there.
Thanks, Mo. Oh, sorry, my screen's messing up here, guys. Here we go. Yeah, I'll just add really briefly. The incubator farm program is for individuals who want to farm as a business, and they get a 1/4 acre of land, whereas partner organization farms are you guys, are your organization farming for whatever reason you see fit, as long as there is someone receiving a benefit that really truly needs it. And our demonstration farm is for educational purposes. Mo and I and the farm worker that we're looking to hire for the summer will be operating a demonstration farm to show good small scale agricultural practices to both earn income for Providence Farm Collective and also to educate other farmers on these techniques.
Okay.
Oops. There we go. So Providence Farm Collective is funded primarily through grants and corporate donors. So as you can see, the purple in this graph and the orange in this graph are grants and corporate donors. So what that means is that in order to receive funding, we have to put in applications to these funding organizations for the grants or for these corporate donors. And they often have very specific guidelines on what they're looking to fund. And they also have very specific guidelines on how that money can be spent. And that in turn means that we have to keep to very strict budgets for those funds through grants and corporate donors. So we apply to lots and lots of grants in order to fill our budget. And our board of directors does an amazing job at reaching out to different corporations to support our funding needs as well. And we also receive some funding through individual donations. both small and large individuals who want to give for the cause, and also to demonstration plot farm sales, which I mentioned in the last slide. So those funds are a little bit more flexible. So we use them for things that aren't so glamorous, like insurance and paying for fuel for the tractors and the ATVs, for example.
So this is a big question. I always get asked this: how is the money spent? And as I said before, the only people who get paid that are involved with PFC are the staff through PFC. Obviously, incubator farmers and your organizations make money through sales of your produce. But the money that we raise through fundraising, through grant writing, all of that gets put back into Providence Farm Collective. A majority of it goes to our staff, to funding staff members. And this year, we're actually still waiting to see if we will get funding for 2 of our staff members. So the farm crew one, we definitely have funding for, but the other 2, we're waiting to hear back on grants. So the next big ticket item is actually infrastructure. So those are things like irrigation, cold storage, wash station, fencing. Hopefully those costs will go down a little bit as we, put in this initial couple of years of investing in infrastructure in the new farm. But they right now are a huge expense for us. And again, we're waiting to hear back on some grants with the hope that we'll be able to get, for example, the other side of the road at Burton fenced in. So that's just really important that we're able to provide like all of that infrastructure and security for your organizations to farm. Professional services would be the next, big ticket item. And that's things like insurance. That's things like anything we have to hire, maybe the tractor work. So there are certain expenses that we have that would go into professional services. Supplies, same thing, that's like the seed starting stuff. So when you all received seeds from Beth, that came from our supplies budget. Rentals and stipends and hired tasks, that would probably be the preparation of the land, wouldn't it now, Beth? So the stipends are actually, so the farmer stipends that we have for the ICAP participation and for advisory board, those come in underneath this part of the budget. And then we also have a produce fund, which is part of the budget where we have money set aside to be able to buy vegetables from you, that we in turn sell for the exact same amount to markets, actually food pantries. So think of Feed Buffalo, that would be one. Westside Community Services would be another. Massachusetts Avenue Project. So that's a fund where we pretty much just hold the money and none of it ever stays in Providence Farms account. All of these, like, it's just really important for you to understand that you anytime can come to me, any board member, any staff member, and ask to see the budget. We want to make sure that we're absolutely transparent in all of our financial information and interactions. So please feel comfortable to ask us about this information, because again, Providence Farm Collective is you. It's not me, it's not the board, it is all of us together. So it's really important that you know where the money comes from and how it's spent. And now, I know that was a little bit long. Last year, we didn't get an opportunity to really explain why and how Providence Farm started, how we operate. And so we wanted to provide you with an orientation today to give you an idea of that. We're going to actually be posting this on the web page for you to be able to access, for community members to be able to access, because it really is so important in building this community that everybody understands the role that we each play in it. Are there any questions?